everybody, and welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I'm your host, Walter Bernasiak. And our regular panel for today will go with, to my left, Mr. Brian Porter. How's it going?
How you doing?
We have Miss Heather Roos.
Hey.
And we have Ayanna Wade.
Hi, guys.
All right, guys. Last week we talked about Batman vs. Superman. We're going to move on from DC to Marvel today, and we're going to be talking about my pal Daredevil here. Season 2 of Daredevil hit Netflix a couple weeks ago. I think we've all had a chance to digest it by now. What did you guys think? We're going to go first, no spoilers, and I'll give you guys a warning for spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. So no spoilers. Ayanna.
I loved it. I liked it better than season 1. I know some people will disagree with me, but I loved season 2. It hit the ground running. I was excited from episode 1 to just binge the rest of it. I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, Porter.
I thought it was fantastic. Like it was everything that the first season was, and it just completely expanded on that. It was perfect. It was amazing. Just everything about it was so good, and they just built on an already amazing first season. Second season was fantastic, and I liked it better than the first. Just right there.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, but I thought first season was better. I enjoyed first season more. I did really like with this season that they built a lot of the secondary characters up more. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think Punisher, universally is pretty much everyone's favorite part of this season. In terms of my thoughts on it, I loved it. It's still probably the best superhero show ever, edging out The Flash for me just by a little bit. But yeah, in just these 13 episodes, incredible stuff. I think season 1 was still a little bit stronger. I think we had, with Wilson Fisk in there as the main villain, and the growth of Matt and Foggy and Karen and everyone was a little bit done and handled a little bit better in season 1. Season 2 is still great. I love it. I mean, this is still next level stuff right here, but I just think season 1 was just a little bit better. It didn't drop off much, and I'm still excited to see what they do more, if they're going to go into Defenders after this, or whatever the heck's going on with season 3. I'm not sure. They haven't really made an announcement yet. But so overall, we really, really liked it.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
We can't really say much else without spoiling it, so we're gonna have to go into spoilers now.
Hi, guys.
So
If
yeah,
you haven't seen it,
If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life, though?
Right.
I mean,
just
like, come on.
stop this and go watch it, actually.
if you haven't seen it, I think out of anything that's superhero related right now, I think you should be watching this. Do you guys agree?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Move it up in your queue.
Right, movies included. I think you should watch this above anything else that's out there right now.
Batman, Superman.
Anyway,
Excuse me.
Right. We're gonna go into spoiler talk now. Okay, so I want to talk about Punisher. Jon Bernthal is freaking amazing, and I loved him. What did you guys think of Jon Bernthal as the Punisher?
I loved him.
Yeah, fantastic.
Casting spot on. He's got some really great Frank Castle monologues too.
Oh, yes.
He's got some they really played to all of his strengths in general.
Agreed.
Action-wise, monologue-wise, just in general, really, really spot on casting. I loved him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. His character was, I think, the most compelling of anyone else this season. I always wanted more of him. I wanted to see where his story was going, what his motivation was. He just was a really well-built character all around, and the acting was fantastic.
I thought he was fantastic too, and the thing was, I wasn't really a fan of the casting because I knew him as Shane on Walking Dead, and I never thought he was that strong of an actor or character on the show, and I just was like, meh. A friend of mine, my friend DJ, was saying that that was his fan cast. Like he wanted him to be it. When he found out, it was like, oh my god, amazing. I was like, okay, we'll see how he does. He comes out and he just freaking nails it.
He killed it, man.
He blew me away with his acting abilities. Like that monologue scene in the cemetery
Episode 4.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
That was brutal.
Yes.
And he just delivered it so well, and it was perfect. And every other scene that he had, the diner scene with Karen and
Episode 11.
episode 11, that was amazing. His
Fantastic.
monologues when he gets a little room to breathe and just deliver something, top notch.
Right. Those are my favorite parts of this show, is like those little character moments. And there's nobody who does it better this season than Jon Bernthal as a Punisher. Like, oh my God. Okay, I know that we're a little bit divided on this rooftop scene from episode 3, but that's where
Episode 3.
Daredevil is chained up to a roof.
Chimney sweep or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Punisher's basically holding him captive, kind of, and they're arguing about their ideologies and stuff. Punisher's arguing that it's totally justified for him to kill these murderers and rapists and stuff. And Daredevil's on the side where, like, no, everybody has good in them. Like, if you kill them, there's no chance for them to be redeemed. What do you guys think of that scene between Matt and Frank? Heather?
Well, I think I'm the dissenting voice here.
That's what I want to hear first.
Because I've been saying one of my least favorite things about Daredevil season 2 was Daredevil, Matt Murdock.
Right.
Because he was just constantly in everyone's face about, you can't kill anyone, you can't kill anyone. Like, it's this holier than thou, almost pompous thing. And that was the moment when I started being like, oh, you got to tone it down. You know, I understand that he fights for his ideal and he wants this ideal that no one kills and everyone has this good in them, but it just came across to me as kind of pompous. It was all self-serving. Like, oh, I don't do this. I am better than you because I don't do this.
Okay.
And he wouldn't even see the Punisher's point of view. That's just my opinion.
I think, but as the series of the season went on, I thought he kind of conceded to Punisher that maybe
Yeah,
this is the
especially
right
when
way to
he's
do
like, oh, you know, well maybe, and then he crosses himself
that.
before he even
he
says it.
Right,
Like,
he says maybe we'll do it your way just
yeah,
as
and
well.
it's like for someone to be so religious to the fact that they cross themselves for even consenting to a hypothetical situation that might not come to pass, that he's going to kill someone, that totally shows the depth of his character, the depth of his faith, and like how deeply seated he wanted to remain good and never cross that line. How he just like, I might do it just for the sake of this one man,
Right.
and maybe in doing so, I can save this one man's soul,
Right.
And like I thought it was a fantastic like character development for Matt, as far as just battling against everybody else who's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill a bunch of people, like I don't care,
Right.
and he's just like, no, like
He's
it was
kinda-
really good.
Right. I mean, his morals kind of get tested to a really good point in this season. So, but that's what I love about Matt Murdock in this, and Charlie Cox's portrayal of him is that he's so inherently good, but he has a dark side to him that that comes out when he's beating the living crap out of criminals every night.
Oh, his dark side came through really well in episode 3.
Right.
That stairwell scene.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, the
so
stairwell
in episode 3, there's a big stairwell scene that's kind of reminiscent of season 1, the big hallway scene that was all one shot. They kind of tried to up the ante with that in this, and he's going down the stairwell and beating the crap out of everybody. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
He's
and
got
it
the
keeps
chain
going.
and his gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Chain.
Exactly.
That's good.
He got the gun taped to his
Yeah.
hand. That was
Yes,
great stuff.
That was,
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
And
fantastic stuff.
amazing that you can use a gun for so many things.
Right?
Bludgeon, like it was
Yeah,
great.
but like threatening, but there's no bullet
That
in
chain
there.
though,
Yeah.
the rest
Oh,
of the
man.
season I was definitely like, ooh, are we gonna get the Billy Club or at least some more chain stuff?
Right. Eventually got the Billy Club.
Right.
Which was
I
awesome.
would have been fine with more chain though.
I love the chain when he's walking through and he just screams and he hits the chain into the lights and they
Yes.
explode. And he's
Right.
just, you can
It was amazing.
see how pissed he was.
I agree.
It's fantastic. Episode 3 was
Yeah.
I texted
strongest.
both of you guys. I was just like, okay, episode 3, probably one of the single greatest episodes in television history I've ever seen in my entire life. I thought it was perfect.
Like I was saying during the C2E2, actually, like it hits the ground running. Like it
Oh, it
really
does.
does. It starts right in, it goes right
Yes.
into it right away. And you're like, ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
The first 4 episodes, I think, are really good, like little mini series for the Punisher. Like, when it
Okay.
starts off, it reintroduces Daredevil, all the characters that we know from the first season, and introduces Punisher as sort of the main antagonist, sort of, but you could tell he's an anti-hero, as the more you see him. And he's he's the most sympathetic character on the show, I think. The stuff with Elektra, let's talk about that. So after the 4th episode, we go into Elektra's storyline, and I thought that was pretty weak. I mean, wasn't terrible by any means. I mean, it's still good. I mean, just for this show, the quality level that I'm used to, it didn't quite meet that, and it was kind of murky, motivations and everything. I mean, it was all kind of explained at the end, but at the end you have Daredevil like professing his love for Elektra and like, I'm only alive with you. Like, I thought that was way over the top, and it didn't really fit with what came before that. What did you guys think of the Elektra stuff?
I liked her being there was like the dual worlds of going with Karen, who like brings out the good in him, or
Was
going
awesome.
with Elektra, who brings out the bad in him, which I thought she was awesome. I was a fan of Elektra. I had to look up the actress. I was like, who is this? She's like French Cambodian black belt. She's
Yeah.
super badass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I like her a lot. I think she's a great look
Yeah.
for Elektra. I like her costume. She gets the suit up at the end
You
with the
mean
long gloves.
you
I was
like
so
her better
excited.
than Jennifer Garner? What's wrong with you?
Oh, well, let's start off with the fact that their first scene together made way more sense than Jennifer Garner
Yeah.
first scene.
And
where
that's
she
the last
just
time
beats
we'll
the shit out of
mention
them.
the Daredevil movie. Heather, what do you think of Elektra and her storyline?
I enjoyed elements of it.
Okay.
So I kind of liked that she had that chemistry with Matt, because I was not a fan of Matt and Karen
For the most part, I liked her. I thought she was a good character. The actress was definitely great. I think she was pretty well written, although there was one line after she slices the throat of the kid, and she's got blood all over, and Matt's like, "Oh my God, what did she?" Yeah, she's holding it. She's like, "Do you still want me?" Or you still? Do you want me? I was just like, little weird, little forced, kind of like super psycho, like Misery type.
Yeah,
Just,
right.
but other than that, I thought she was a pretty strong character. Her story arc was a little drawn out and a little like confusing at times, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty strong. Not nearly as strong as The Punisher or anything
No.
like that, but I liked it. I thought it was good.
I thought it was okay.
You I wasn't bored.
Right, sure. The Hand in this season is a big part that comes in later that ties into the Elektra storyline. And that's, like, I like the fights and everything. They're fantastic. Like, it all was a great climax at the end of the season and everything. I just think because it's not as compelling as the Punisher stuff to me, it was hard to really get into all that stuff. Like going after Elektra and Stick coming back. I was in this when Stick came back, but when they found out Elektra was like the main, their god or whatever.
Black Storm or whatever.
The
Black Sky, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of was like, can we just see more Punisher stuff?
I like what it did for Matt's senses though, because we kind of get a thing of Matt like not being able to like hear, and he has like the smashing the glass thing. Like that whole thing was cool, and then we add the hand in, and he can't hear them. And then there's the bit when he Sticks like they have to exhale at some point. I love that because
it was so good.
No, that was cool.
I don't know, like Matt gets to just kick butt and kick butt and kick butt and kick butt, but then when there's something when he can't even see or sense them,
right.
There just adds like another element of danger for him as Daredevil of like, there's actually like something at stake here. He might not be able to get out of this. I love that.
Oh yeah, I love that scene too. It was really good. And, they have to breathe sometime. I thought it was really awesome. The Hand I thought was utilized pretty well. I love Nobu coming back because I thought he was a badass from the first season, and like I thought it was cool.
I was kind of bored by The Hand. I don't know,
Really?
same thing. Yeah, I mean, they had the Punisher story built up so well that it just didn't do much for me. And I
Right.
kind of felt like it still wasn't very well built. At the end, all we know is that Elektra is the Black Sky, the ultimate warrior. Well, if she's the ultimate warrior, then why was Nobu so kind of easily able to beat her?
Right.
I just feel like they spent the whole season being like, Black Sky, Black Sky, Black
Right.
Sky.
It's a big
It's
thing
Elektra!
about
They have
They
to
start
they
from
have
somewhere
to
and
like
build
fill
it.
her with blood or whatever
Yeah.
the heck that was,
Right.
like, to unlock that in her. Let's go in a little bit about Karen. So she has a really big arc this season. I mean, besides just the stuff going on with Matt, she takes over for Ben Urich, so she had a lot to do this season.
Girl cannot catch a break though. This
Oh
season.
no, she
She
was
cannot catch a
She's
break.
always
Right.
in the
No.
shit.
yeah,
Karen.
all the time.
Brutal.
But what do you think of Karen's arc this season, Heather?
Outside of The Punisher, I thought hers was the most captivating for me, at least,
Sure.
because she did have so much to do. She was always out doing something. And I think part of my annoyance with Matt does come from the fact of how like almost cold he was to her during this time. Like you said, she couldn't catch a break, and you could tell she wanted to talk to somebody about it, and she wanted to tell him, but figured that, oh, well, he's got so many other things to do and
Right.
whatever. But I kind of felt like she only liked Matt because he saved her. And she had that good memory with him, and that's kind of the basis of everything, where I felt like she had better actual chemistry and banter going on with Foggy.
Foggy.
So when that happened, I was like, no, I don't want this. So I was kind of glad to see him distracted and be like, good.
But we
Have
got
someone
our
there.
rain
Have someone
scene.
Dude, the
there.
rain
I was
scene.
Yes.
so excited
Okay.
about the rain scene. The whole season, I was like,
That was
I need
great.
a rain scene. It was so
No,
good.
it was freaking great.
I
And I
loved
think
it.
that was in episode 4.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was
or
the-
episode 4 or 5. Because that's right when
It was right before Elektra was 4.
popped
Right.
in. Yeah.
The
So-
episode that she shows up
Yeah.
at the end, like, hello,
Yeah.
Bob.
Matthew.
Hello, Mr. Bob.
I love that scene too. I thought it was great, and the chemistry between Karen and
man.
Matt is perfect. It's
So
like,
good.
how do you have that much chemistry on screen and not have something off of screen? I actually looked it up to see if they were together because they had such good chemistry. Like the way he was, you're Karen right now.
Oh, no.
The way that he was like caressing
I'll do
her. Thank you. He was caressing her arm, and she was like visibly shaking. You could see the
Yeah.
Yeah.
goosebumps or whatever. Like
And
that
then
was
he puts
perfect.
His hand up her arm or whatever.
Yeah, like
Oh,
it was
man.
perfect. Did you feel it? Did you feel like
felt
I see right
See,
there.
it just does it. They're not actually together. There's something about the rain. And
The arm touching,
Right,
it's
that's
good
it.
stuff.
Well,
But
what'd
I
you-
thought it was great. Anytime time she was on screen with Castle, the Punisher, like
Oh,
it
oh,
was
yes,
just
love
Yeah,
their
really
relationship.
cool.
they're
I started
yeah, their
shipping them
relationship.
there for a
Good.
minute, like in that diner scene. I was like,
Oh, man.
no, I don't know. They're gonna do like a thing. I'll be at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the diner scene, like everything, every time he talked to her, especially like how he apologized to her, like, you know, you were fine, you weren't in any danger in the hospital, like, you know, do you know what a Army Scout sniper is? Like, we're the best. Like, I wasn't gonna get you. You know, I only want to talk to her. Like, I loved their scenes together. They had great chemistry in a non-romantic way. That it's just they worked so well together on screen. She really brought out a lot in him,
Yeah.
and she brought forth his emotions. So through her, Castle was made a better character, and that's what you want for your characters. And I thought she was a shining example of like a secondary character, but really, really stepping it up. And I thought
agree.
she was used perfectly.
Right.
And I loved her. She was great.
We have Kingpin back.
Yes.
No, he showed up and it was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great. His
was
stuff with the
awesome.
Punisher was very good. The one scene with him and Matt when he's basically threatening him and Foggy, just slamming him down.
in the table.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
man, that was
Oh, so
great
good.
work.
Love it when Matt throws that punch. Oh yes, the son of the boxer.
That was great stuff.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. I loved his scene with the Punisher when he throws him after he gets
7
beaten. all
Minutes
that-
of Heaven.
Yeah,
that
that-
was one of my favorite episodes.
That was good.
With the whole trapped with all the other prisoners. Like as soon as that happened, I was like, and making out my popcorn because this scene's about to get good. Also, like worst like regulated cell block ever because literally every single one of them had a ship. Of
Yeah.
some
Right.
sort. I was like, okay, like 1 or 2, but literally every single one had a different. There was a steak in there. Got all Buffy with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. The brutality of the Punisher is just
Oh, we get the
phenomenal.
little blood on his shirt too, and it
so
drips, and I was like,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, it totally looked like the skull. Oh, that was
Yes,
good stuff.
that
I
was,
did
that
praise
was
the
cool.
He cut that dude's throat at the end of that fight, and like all this blood just spills on his face, and he's just a monster. Like the makeup department for keeping his bruises and stuff consistent, I noticed that,
Yes.
and like that
It
was
was
man,
really
that was
awesome.
great because like you know every time you see him, some bruises heal and some that he gets because he gets in the fight. every season.
He's never like except for like the first episode that he was in. He never had a clear face
Right,
throughout the
he never
entire
did.
rest of the season. He
Right.
was messed up.
yeah.
Even his hands, they had a bunch of
Yeah,
like, the
bruises on his knuckles
on
and
his
stuff.
knuckles and everything.
Swelling, yeah.
Yeah, they
Very
did a
impressive
great
work.
job.
You want to talk a little bit about the costumes and stuff?
Yeah, I loved the costumes. Like I said before, I hated that freaking headpiece in season 1. I'm not the only one. Okay,
No,
I'm not
it
the only
was-
one
it
who
was
hated
not
it. It
fine.
did not
No.
fit well for someone who needs all of his senses and needs to be able to move and understand. Like that helmet could have shifted like this and
And he'd be
totally
done.
shown half his face, and he would have never known. I did not like season 1. No. But this one was cool, and the first one I liked okay, and then they upgraded it again. I was like, oh, it's even better. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's not like that super bright red. They still kept it like really dark
Yeah.
and stuff. They did the same thing with Elektra though. They didn't put her in her full red.
I was a little bothered by Elektra's last costume, though, still leaving this
Yeah. A
portion
little bit. I know,
exposed.
yeah.
And then that's the first place she gets
She
cut.
gets cut.
Of course.
Well, good.
Because there's
it was realistic.
Exactly.
That's exactly where she would
Like,
get
really, you're
caught.
gonna cover
I was
everything
happy.
except
I was
right
so
here.
excited too when they finally got out like the sigh. I was like, oh, she's just gonna like just be kicking butt fine. And then he pulls him out, and I was like, this is what she
Yeah.
gets. I was so excited.
Yeah, I thought that was
And
pretty good.
Punisher, flashlight in mouth, just spray painting
Oh,
the cool
great.
vest that
Yes.
he finds. I
That was
loved
awesome.
it.
Yeah, that
I-
vest looked good with
you
the
guys know
lines
how I
on
feel
it.
about people being able to just get magical powers for sewing in their costumes. That always happens. I don't understand that. I don't like it. But the whole like pulling it together out of just like found stuff or going to a tailor and getting it done, I loved that.
I did like the nods to Jessica Jones, Luke
Yeah. Oh,
sure,
Cage,
the
Yes.
crossover.
Yeah.
what's Trinity? Horgath.
Hogarth.
Hogarth. I loved how
Going
she
in the
was.
dark side.
I love how she was in there
He's not.
talking about like Jessica Jones and then
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson's character was I
Yeah.
got this one guy, but like I loved all the little Easter eggs and the little shout outs to the other parts, like really bringing
Right.
it together.
I agree.
Without like
can't
punching
wait.
you in the face with it,
Exactly.
without being like, hey,
If-
this is from Jessica Jones.
I'm looking
no.
forward to Luke Cage after this.
Yeah,
That's all I
there's a
gotta
little
say.
teaser for Luke Cage. It looked pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that
so
was
Yeah.
really cool.
I'm excited to check that out. Okay, final thoughts on Daredevil season 2.
I loved it. I'm gonna go binge watch it again like in 2 minutes. I loved
Heather?
it.
Great, fantastic, very strong, amazing TV show.
Yeah, definitely one of the best TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't wait for more. It's just perfect.
Right. For me, Daredevil remains my favorite superhero TV show. Just barely edging out The Flash. I love The Flash. But Daredevil, it's too deep. It's too good. So season 2, not quite as strong as season 1, but I still love it. To me, but I still love it. To me,
These two.
still loved it. Still loved
We
it.
got it. We got it.
Still loved it though. Still loved it. Okay, so right now we're gonna get a couple thoughts from a friend of ours. Maybe you've heard of him. His name is Angry Joe. So we're gonna cut to an interview with him right now. Hey folks, I got a special guest for you. It's Angry Joe. We're gonna talk a little bit more about season 2 of Daredevil, like we were on the set. Hey man, so season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that this is as good, if not better, than season 1. I like season 1 a little bit better. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on
Those
this?
people are freaking crazy, man. Are you serious? Can I cuss?
Nick, yo, do whatever you want.
Okay. Those people are fucking crazy. The first season of Daredevil, way better than season 2. I think
so.
season 2 was awesome, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Right.
But I felt like the boss fight was a little weak at the end. I felt like it sort of took its time and then sort of rushed there abruptly at the end. And what it was doing with the Punisher and then Elektra was interesting, but it was, a split focus.
Yeah.
And it was a little hard. I wanted to see more Punisher, to be honest.
Me too.
Okay,
I think
good.
everybody's in pretty
I
much
mean, I
agreement.
think Elektra is freaking awesome, and they did her justice probably better than, the Daredevil
Jennifer
Ben
Garner?
Affleck. Yeah, Jennifer
You
Garner.
sure about that? I don't know.
Well, Jennifer Garner's pretty good. No, but, I think that it felt a little scatterbrained. For building up in the previous season 1, they talked about the hand and they talked about this coming war.
Yeah.
And we got to see it in season 2. That was a lame war, man. That was a fucking lame war.
Wasn't too much.
No. I did like them fighting ninjas, but I wanted more.
Right. Yeah. Well, it seems like they're going to do something else. I mean, with the end, we have Elektra, being in that vat of blood or whatever the heck that tomb thing was. So.
Yeah, but that was the war. That was the
that's what
confrontation.
they
The first
say.
time they fought against the
I know what
hand,
you
and
mean.
it should have been a little bit better. I felt like the fight with Nobu. What was his
Yeah,
name? Is it
Nobu.
Nobu?
Right.
Was better in the first one, and so you have to top the previous one. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited for season 3 though.
Right.
If they do season 3,
I'm sure they
they'll
will.
do it,
I'm not
right?
sure if they're
Well,
going to do.
I thought they were really, confused on whether they were going to do a season 2 for a while.
Well,
right?
but I think because they wanted to come out with everyone's first season first, like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and
right.
Iron Fist, and then they're going to do the Defenders,
Oh
and then
my
it was going to
gosh,
be season
that
2.
is going to be crazy.
That's going to be great. I'm very
Marvel
excited for that.
knows how to do their shit. I
Right?
mean, they're doing what they did. They're taking their success with the movies, and they're doing the same thing on television. It's genius.
It is. It's great. A lot of people are talking about John Bernthal as the Punisher, as Frank Castle. I think the first 4 episodes were so strong because they were all just about his initial coming into New York and everything, and it sort of ends his arc, or part of his arc there, and then it goes on further when he's in jail and stuff. But those first 4 episodes are
that
so
jail scene
strong.
was
Oh, I know. That's a little bit
Where
later.
he's like, they shut the door on him, and he's got to fight like 50
Right.
dudes. It was basically the Daredevil hallway scene
Yeah.
just for Punisher.
Exactly.
And Punisher gets his own hallway scene, and it's perfect because it's in jail, and he shanks people.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think he's so interesting. I mean, like all besides the big fights and stuff, the conversations he has with Karen, the conversations he has with Daredevil on the rooftop in season 3, or
They really
episode
nailed
3.
his tortured kind
Right.
of thing. It's not this hokey, sort of. Sometimes the comic book Punisher gets a little crazy and,
Yeah.
and a little too light and happy and kind
Uh-huh.
of weird things. This one was, you can tell that there is a reason why this guy has lost his
Oh,
shit
yeah.
and is killing people.
Right. I mean, he's such a strong character in this season.
And they
It's
never
great.
had to flash back to his kids going and his wife going. They never did
Yeah,
that.
uh-huh.
And to accomplish this amount of gravitas without having to do that, I think it's pretty cool.
I think the big dolly shot they have when they show him for the first time at the carousel is like that's all you need. And you just see his face, and like everything is just told, through his emotions on his face and everything.
I
It's
was
great.
not sold on him at first.
Really?
I really was. I thought it was a terrible choice.
Was
to
it just the
publish it.
casting, or
Yeah, the
okay.
casting, because I wanted, our traditional punter. I wanted Thomas Jane.
I love Tom Jane.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But after I saw his performance, I was like, okay, he
Yeah.
nailed it. He really did nail
He
it.
was great. He had a lot of really great quiet scenes and a lot of great, like we're talking about the hallway scene. that also involved Kingpin's comeback. What did you think of Kingpin coming back?
That was good stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Kingpin would do. And I'm
Yeah.
happy. I didn't expect to see him, and I saw him, and so that was really cool. And Punisher knows that he's being manipulated.
Right.
Right? But he knows he's going to get something out of it. What he wants, get the hell out of jail and go and do what I want to do.
Yep.
So I thought it was a necessary alliance for the time for
Right.
Punisher. He's not Daredevil.
No.
Doesn't give a shit, you
No.
know. So I really liked his appearance, and it's setting up that he's had all this time to think about his previous battle with Daredevil.
Exactly.
And when this guy comes back, oh
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. In comparison to Punisher, let's talk a little bit more about Elektra, because us on the set we're a little bit split about whether that was that strong or not. I thought it was just kind of okay. I mean, Elektra herself's great and everything. Just like I think that it sort of pales in comparison to the Punisher stuff. Like whenever the Elektra stuff was being pushed forward, I was just like, "Where's Punisher though?" Like I want to see where's Punisher right now.
Yeah, I liked it. I did like it. I would err on the side of liking it because she was, the scenes where she's trying to pull the darkness out of Daredevil and sort of manipulate him to cross the line, and she surprises him with, the guy that was responsible.
Oh yeah,
And
the
so-
flashback scene was great.
Yeah, so I liked that she was like the dark side, and you were thinking to yourself, maybe could Daredevil go bad?
Right.
But yeah, so I liked Elektra. I thought she was cool.
I gotcha. The stuff with Karen and Matt I thought was really strong at first. I mean, their chemistry is like off the charts, like great. The scene in the rain that might top
Yeah,
the first
that was great
Spider-Man
stuff.
movie scene with the upside down kid. Like I was like, that might be the best like rain kiss scene
I
I've
was,
ever seen.
and that's maybe why people are a little mad at Elektra, because you got that
Right.
started, and then Elektra came in and don't fucked it up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so I was a little pissed off at Elektra, and that's probably what people are still mad at her, and they don't want to give her full credit. But I like the Elektra stuff. But yeah, so I guess they teased us a little bit with
A
the
little
Karen
bit.
stuff. and
Right.
We're gonna have to wait till season 3.
Right.
Them sons of bitches better make season 3.
I know. I think they will. I mean, it's so
Okay.
popular. Like, it
hope
might
so.
might be a while because we got the Luke Cage preview at the end of this. They're going to be doing the Defenders at some point. We're going to get Iron Fist. So I'm not sure if it's going to be
You
a
think
while or what.
all of those before?
I don't.
Daredevil
That was the
season 3?
original plan, but I don't know what it is now. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't come out, and they might come out with that Punisher series now. That's been the rumor. So
They ain't gonna
possible.
do
You don't think so?
that. Well, I
Why
guess
not?
if all these other ones are making good money, and Jessica Jones surprised people,
Yeah.
so you're right. It probably, full on Punisher in
Oh,
the
it'd be
armor
great.
with the symbol. And,
can't wait to see the van. Like that's gonna be fantastic. But overall, I still think one of the best interpretations of a comic book character I've ever seen.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this Daredevil.
If Daredevil was a 10, or a 9 or a 10, I'd have to think about 9 or 10. But
Yeah.
if Daredevil's 9 or 10, I think Daredevil season 2, overall for me would probably be a 7.
Okay.
Overall, what they were doing is an 8, but they really disappointed me with the resolution and
Sure.
the final fight and
Yeah.
and the hand material. Punisher, awesome. Elektra, awesome. Hand material, lackluster. So maybe a little bit of a sophomore slump just because the first season was so cool.
Oh, it was great.
And
Yeah.
I think that it's gonna go back up here for season 3
Right,
if they eventually do it.
I agree. Angry Joe, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Where
Yeah.
can we find you?
AngryJoeShow.com or my YouTube channel at youtube.com/AngryJoeShow.
Okay. Well, back to us on the set. This has been Angry Joe, Walter Naziak. Back to you guys.
That's bullshit, Frank. That's bullshit.
Oh, hey. So that was an interesting interview, eh? What we're going to do now is do the pick of the week. Ayana has got it this week, and take it away.
My pick of the week is Guardian Devil, Daredevil. It's written by Kevin Smith. Some of you may be familiar with him. It's really, really good. There's some great artwork in here. There's some Karen in here for you. Yeah. She goes through a lot again, though, so.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, it's good. There's some really good stuff. We get a little bit of Doctor Strange in there. So if you're looking forward to that whole franchise, read this, check it out. I also love the little forward in here. Check out who it is. It's Ben Affleck. Aw.
This is how many, 5 years
This
before?
was before
played Daredevil.
Daredevil, but he has this little forward in here, and it's really sweet. It's really nice. It's good stuff. There's a little bit of a theme with a baby in here. We get some Black Widow, baby, Doctor Strange. There's some good stuff in here. Check it
Sounds
out.
intriguing.
It's worth it.
All right, great. Okay, well, that was a lot of fun. You can join us next week for Awesome Comics right here,
I'm Heather Roos.
here,
Brian Porter.
there,
Ayanna Wade.
everywhere. I'm Walter Bernaziak, and until next time, we'll see you on the next page. Bullshit, Frank.